Good afternoon. I'm Tim Carter, and this is Ask the Builder. And I'm happy you're here. Today is Monday. I always have to look down. I keep thinking March 28th, 2022. We've burned through March. Pretty hard to believe. Went by in a flash. Today, lots of stuff happening. Lots of stuff. Some funny stuff. Some stuff that made my head shake. Um, and we're going to do a really cool live demonstration in just a few minutes of this bad boy. All right, so check that out. Nice 12-volt cordless oscillating tool. I just want to say this about these tools before, to kind of tease you a little bit. This is one of those tools that I mean, I wish it was available back when I was building it. Well, Fine was a German company, Fein. They developed the tool, and I'm trying to think how far back it was. You could look it up, but I can tell you that they didn't really kind of make it over to the United States until after I had already switched. So and then everybody copied them. But they're they're so handy. I just cannot begin to tell you all the different things you can do, and I will be telling that in a minute. If you have not checked in, that's what you want to do. It's kind of a new rule here with the Ask the Builder streaming videos. There's a couple of reasons. Number one, it's polite. In other words, you wouldn't just walk into somebody's home and walk right past them and go sit down in their living room, on the couch, would you? I mean, you would just introduce yourself and shake hands. So that's all I ask you to do here. And what I also ask to have some fun, just list one or two of your superpowers. In other words, what are you good at? Because you might be good at something that I need to know about, and I would like to ask you a question. So please just list your superpowers and just who you are. Just say hi. Simple as that. Nothing hard about it at all. We're going to be talking about excuse me. We're going to be talking about Carol, who objected to the fact that I cleared my throat and coughed during the live stream. I got an overnight comment from a woman named Carol, and I just had to shake my head at it. I'll tell you about it in a little bit. We're going to talk about Harry, who yesterday in my newsletter, I put out a plea. I said, hey, if you happen to have any old of the Lesney Matchbox, the die-cast metal made in the 60s trucks, in your attic or basement, I'd like to buy them. Harry I bought Harry's whole collection yesterday. The newsletter's so great. So we're going to talk about that. The Dick Stain survey test, I started a survey about this video I'm going to do. And I was just stunned at the results. I'm going to share those with you too today. And then we're going to talk about the idiots about slavery. You're not going to believe the exchange I had yesterday with Barbara. So it's lots going to happen today on the. I've got it all written down. Not going to forget any of it. So going to be a really interesting live stream. Once again, hi Louise, how you doing? Hi Josh. Yep, no worries, Josh. I get it. And hello, Jimmy. That's a great question, Louise. I did not buy the tool. What happens is I get tools like this sent to me because I'm an influencer, and actually, that's a really good question. Because I think you might discover something here in what I'm going to tell you. This is a really interesting story. Now, once again, if you've tuned in to watch me review this tool, I'm going to do it in just a minute. All right, just a minute. But you'll understand my review about this and why it's attractive after you hear the story. Back when I first got into Ask the Builder, I started to go to the big international builder shows. And I think by the second or third one, I met this really fascinating woman. She was really active in an association of like newspaper editors. It's still active. I forget what the name of it is. And, like home and garden writers. And her name was Laura Bennett. Laura Bennett. She lives down in Florida. She had a rocking public relations firm, probably one of the most savvy PR people I've ever met. Another one who lives in Georgia, so it must be a Southern thing. Kathy Ziprick. Kathy Ziprick's also really, really. I mean, most PR people, they can't even lace Kathy or Laura's lace. They can't even lace their boots. I mean, all right. Anyway, Laura taught me. This is what's interesting. You got to remember, I was just kind of getting into the business. Laura had been around the block a time or two or three, and she said, "Tim, here's what you don't understand." She said, "I could hire the best copywriter in the United States, the best one, to write an ad for this tool. If I was the PR person, I could pay. I mean, in other words, there's a person who writes the most seductive ad copy in the United States. You see the ad, you run out and you buy the tool." She said, "But if you write about it in your column or you do a video about it, that's worth 8 times in power what can be done by the best ad copywriter." And the reason for that is because you, as the consumer, you are naturally, and you should be, you are naturally leery of ad copy from manufacturers. You're going like, "Oh yeah, they're just telling me so, whatever." They're just telling me all the good stuff. They're not telling me all the bad stuff. Where someone like me, if you believe me, you go, "If Tim says it's good, I'm buying one." In fact, I might buy two of them. I might buy three. I might buy one for my two sons. And actually, I might buy four. For my two sons, going to get one for me. And I'm going to surprise my flipping neighbor with one. I'm serious. That's how powerful an influencer for you can be. All right. So let's get started. So I have to kind of switch screens a second here. And because I don't want to misstate anything. I don't want to misstate some of the facts about this cool tool. All right, so I'm printing up here for us, and just some of the technical specs. That's all. So here we go. So this is really kind of neat. I mean, so it's a neat. First of all, it's cordless. All right, in other words, it's got a 12-volt battery here. That's I'll take the battery out. So it's 12-volt battery. This one's a 3 amp hour. All right. And it's got a little handy thing on the back that you press that button. You can see how much energy is in the battery. So I have it fully charged. This thing will oscillate at 18,000 orbits per minute, because that's what it does. I'm going to try to hold up so you can see it and do it slow. So you can kind of see it go back and forth, I hope. And so it has a variable speed motor. So if I really press it, it really goes fast. All right. It has an LED light to help you see. Really an interesting tool. All right. So it's got a brushless motor, and it's got a 3.2 degree oscillating angle. All right. So I'm sure that talks about how far it oscillates back and forth in an arc. All right. And it says right here, it says it's compact, pro-grade construction is suited for a wide range of jobs while a brushless blah, 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 blah. I've already said all that. All right. So here's the neat thing. Let me show you this. So one of the cool features, the original oscillating tools did not have this. And the big problem was, and I'll show you how to do it in a minute. I'll also show you what else comes with. So to change blades on this DeWALT one, see this lever right here it's right here. So if I just press that, it's pretty spring loaded. You'll see what happens. It goes down like that, and I can pull, I can pull this blade out. And the DeWALT blades have got this notch in it that allows you to do the quick change. And now let me show you some of the traditional, the traditional blades that work on all the other oscillating tools. I have a whole box of them here. So here's kind of like a circular saw one, but you notice it doesn't have a notch. It just has this hole here and these holes. Well, that will work on this particular tool. All right, and I'll show you that in a minute. The reason these are cool, you have to understand there are all kinds of different. Like what I'm doing here is I've got this whole box from my Bosch toolkit. I have all these different blades in here. For example, here's a really neat one that would work on the DeWALT tool. I'm sure they have their own blade or whatever, but this is all carbide here. So this is all and you can tell I've used it. This is a perfect blade. Like let's say you want to, your grout and tile is crumbling and you want to regrout your tile. Well, this tool offers so much control that you can put this bit on there and you can very carefully, right between the grout lines, just basically carve out the grout. I mean, it's crazy. So you've got that. There's all different types of blades with all different types of teeth. So for rough cutting, you've got like this one here. This one, very aggressive teeth on that blade. Really fine tooth ones for like cutting metal or just cutting wood, very fine cutting. Just you name it, the blades exist. I mean, there are just so many blades. You also, of course, with this particular tool, get the charger. Comes with a soft-sided bag, nice soft-sided bag. Everything fits in it. The charger, everything fits in it. So it's a wonderful, wonderful tool. Now let's test it. I'll show you what it does. So it's so easy to put the blade in. So once again, this is the DeWALT blade. All right, it's got the notch in it. So you just press that trigger, and that fast. I mean, it couldn't be anything. In the old days, what we had to do, there was a hex wrench that goes into here, into that hole, and you have to, turn the hex wrench, take off this big black washer, put the blade on, put it on, screw it back on, tighten it up. I mean, it takes forever. So this quick change is a really great feature. If you have questions about the tools, you got to ask them in the chat. All right. So if you got any questions, ask them in the chat. So let's demonstrate it here. I'm going to step back because I want to do it over the my garbage can. Just a piece of plywood. All right. Nothing fancy. But I mean, you can just see. I mean, look how fast. I mean, it cuts really, really well. You can do really fine cutting if you just slow it down. Look. You can make L cuts. I think you get the point. They work really well. All right. You might ask, well, how long does a battery charge last? It just depends on what you're cutting, but you could probably, out of this 3-amp battery, I don't know, you could probably cut for a good solid hour, would be my guess. I haven't done it. I don't have that much cutting to do, but you can imagine the different jobs you can use with this. For example, I already told you about the grout. Let's say that, like in a room like this, you want to put in a new electrical outlet. Well, you can use a blade just like this to very carefully, you could trace where the electric box is going to go, and this will cut right through the drywall very carefully. You just go in deep enough just to cut the drywall. You don't jam it all the way in and either cut through a pipe or another wire. You can use this. Let's say that you're putting in laminate flooring and you're in a room and see right here, this is my woodwork, and you have the door jamb. Well, let's say that you want to slide your new laminate flooring underneath the door trim. Well, you can put a piece of the laminate flooring next to it. You can put this on top of it. You can put this on top of it and just very carefully start to cut so that and this is a super thin blade. This is maybe a 64th of an inch thick. So the laminate floor is going to slide in and it's going to look just like the woodwork is sitting on the laminate floor. So this is a really, really amazing tool. We used to have to do that by hand with these really horrible saws, made to do that. It was just horrible. This also comes with a lock. I didn't talk about that earlier, but there's a button right here If I push that button that way, of course I squeeze the trigger, nothing happens. So great little tool. Great little tool. And it fits my hand really well. So fits my hand really, really well. I don't know what else to tell you. Let's see. So let's see if I've got some questions here. Okay, so Louise, you can buy that tool probably on Amazon right now. I will. Maybe someone can go look up, or I'm going to have a review about it on the website, and then I'll produce a link for you where you can buy it from. It's a brand new tool, just came out. Model number. All right. It's funny. They've kind of sometimes gotten away. Oh, here we go. Here we go. I'll hold it up to the screen. So it looks like I'm reading backwards. DCS 3823, maybe. DCS. I'm sorry. DCS 353. DCS 353. There it is, right there. All right. Let me get caught up. Hello, 8-bit. All right. Have a good day at work, buddy. Second shift, it looks like you're working. Don, how are you able to keep animals away from tomatoes? Oh, easy. There's no animals up in the cave up here. Oh, I'm sorry. Outside. Well, when Lady the dog was alive, she did a really good job. I put him in, I put him in those steel baskets. We don't really have so much of a bird problem. There's so much other abundant food around. In the last few years when I've been growing the tomatoes, I really haven't had that much of a problem. So we'll see what happens this year. All right. All right. So Lorraine's, hello, Lorraine. Glad to have you back. So Will wants to know the model number, the price, the cost of extra blades. You know what? I don't know what it costs. I don't know. Look it up. Look it up on Amazon. See if Steve the wise guy gives a demonstration on their mustache. That I use the barber clippers for. I have a barber clippers I do that with. So you can look it up. You can look up on Amazon what the thing sells for. I don't know, but you have to be careful because sometimes they just have a listing for the tool only and not the battery. And remember, we've already talked. I think what this is just what I think. It's my opinion. I can't back it up. And even if I ask the tool companies, I don't know if they would give me a completely straight answer. But I think they're kind of transitioning to become battery companies or razor blade companies is the best way I can describe it. They want to sell batteries. There's a big, enormous profit margin in the batteries. So, and I just, I don't blame them. And I have to tell you, all of my years working, I didn't have cordless tools. They really didn't exist. I mean, Makita came out with what I think was the first cordless tool, 7.2 volt, this little like driver. I told you time in the past, my best friend Richard Anderson, he used one to put in the self-tapping screws for duct work. He loved that thing. He had a little nut driver on the end of it, worked fantastic. But to have the cordless tools, I mean, they've come such a far way that I used it on my daughter's home. So I have a cordless Milwaukee, like a whole hog. I mean, these are these incredible right angle drills that have just they have so much torque, it'll break your wrist if it gets caught in a knot in the wood. And I drilled all of the holes for my daughter's house with this cordless tool. You would never think that was possible. You would think the battery would just, I'm telling you, that the technology is amazing. So, and having them cordless frees you up instead of having the stupid cord all the time. So I'm a big believer in the cordless tools. I wasn't right at first, but I am now. All right, let's see. Let me get caught up on the comments. So do you have any questions about the oscillating tool? They're really pretty simple. They You just simply can't believe all the things you can do with it. I mean, anytime what I like about it is they're really good for making really fine precision cuts, and you can cut curves with it because they have curved blades. You can actually, let me show you this tool. So let's say you have to, like sand, like really get a bunch of rust off some steel, like heavy rust. Well, you can use this particular blade or whatever you want to call it. They have all these different blades. They have sanding ones. Like here's a like if you want to sand with it, this is a sanding pad, and it fits on. It's got a special thing that adapts onto. It's got an adapter. So I mean, they make and here's all the sanding pads. Um, you name the task, this little oscillating tool can probably do it. That's all you need to know. So I can't say enough good things about the oscillating tools. You'll never regret having one, I can tell you that. All right, let's get caught up here. Tim, where's our economy going? Well, I'm not an economist. All I am, as Steve will tell you, I'm a silver top. So I have lots of experience. And I think a couple of things are in play, especially in how it relates to you and your home and building and all that. We're in a horrible inflationary period. The inflation's going to get worse with the price of fuel the way it is. I mean, this is just common sense. The cost of diesel fuel and gasoline so high, like almost doubling, or it has doubled. That's going to add tremendous cost to everything across the board because, for the most part, everything that you have in your home gets delivered by truck. I mean, what's happened is the whole American transportation industry shifted to trucks in the last 40 to 50, 60 years. In the old days, it used to be railroad. I mean, the railroads handled a lot of the freight, and they would bring it into towns, and then it would just be like a local delivery truck. But now it's all semis. All right, so I'm deeply worried about the real estate market. I'm worried about, and that once again that affects you and your home. I think that we're building this huge, crazy, insane bubble. This insane housing bubble. And what's happening is the middle class. This is the way I kind of see it. I just see this erosion of the middle class, and the cynic in me actually thinks it's being done on purpose because the more people you make dependent upon the government, then you can control them in every way. And I think that that's the long range plan, is to try to make people more dependent on the government. So everything about that is bad, in my opinion. So in other words, they'll control the economy to kind of make that happen, and that's what's happening now. Because in other words, with this inflation and with high gasoline and transportation prices, you're going to see more people shift to poverty. All right, Keith. Keith, I have not used a cordless vacuum cleaner yet, but I can tell you, there's not a doubt in my mind that it would work well because the draw on most of those vacuum motors is not that great. So I'm convinced that it would work well. In other words, I'll give you some experience. I have a still, the chainsaw people, STIHL. This is a 4 or 5 year old tool. I have this wonderful cordless blower instead, the handheld blowers that you can blow leaves around. I use it all the time. I forget the size of the battery pack, but it will blow for a half an hour, 45 minutes straight, nonstop before I have to switch out batteries. So a vacuum cleaner, most people are not using a vacuum cleaner straight for 30, 40, 50 minutes. So I would think they would work great because my blower, it's just a vacuum cleaner. All right. Because it's sucking air into the back of it and blowing out the long tube. Let's see. Hello, John. Good afternoon. I have a rigid color corded version. I love it. All right. One thing I really like is being able to rotate the head. Yeah. You can absolutely flip that blade over. You can go either way. So yes, you can flip the blade. not a problem. Hello, 100. Justin, great that you're here, John. Bingo. Use this to remove old hardened window pane. Yeah, there's so many uses for these oscillating tools, I'm telling you. I think you like the silver top thing. I do like it because it's very accurate, Steve. I mean, my hair is pretty silver colored and it's on top of my head. And there's still some there. I mean, it's Kathy always jokes, she'll look at an old video and she'll say, "Oh my God, look how much hair you had back then." Yeah, it's like, well, you know what? I could say some stuff too, but I don't. So, it's just making things easier for my barber. She's got less hair to cut, I think, each time I go. Steve's correct. We have to fear agendas. Will says, "Are the blades?" Yes, the blades are pretty much universal. Will, because I'll show you. Because on oscillating tools, I'm trying to hold it up to where you can see through the holes. Probably my hair. Yeah, that's the best place to do it. My head. So all these holes, just like numbers around a clock, those are universal on just about every single oscillating tool. So this blade will fit this brand new DeWALT one. Now, you can't use the thing, the little spring-loaded clamp, because this doesn't have a notch in it. But I guess you could always, take a hacksaw and make a notch if you wanted to convert your old blades to the new thing. So Steve, 3-bedroom Long Beach area, 4K, McDonald's paying $16 an hour. Exactly. It's not sustainable. It's not sustainable. You'd be stunned what my daughter's paying for rent. Although this is kind of funny. So my daughter's living above this marijuana shop with a friend, a roommate, and the roommate is the marketing director for this chain of marijuana shops. So the owner of the chain giving them a really good deal on the rent, $1,000 a month, 2-bedroom, 1.5 baths, fireplace, pretty nice apartment. All right. And right there at the diagonal, that big diagonal in Long Beach, and anyway, Los Coyotes. Anyway, so there's this big rainstorm that came into California yesterday and today, and finally started to rain in Long Beach this morning. And my daughter texts Kathy, and the roof's leaking like crazy. They got bowls set out everywhere. So, you get what you pay for. All right. But I mean, you could have leaks on a $4,000 apartment too. So anyway, I only laugh because as a dad, I'm getting so much pleasure for her. Like, she's already been out in the real world. She was down in tough Puerto Rico for 2 years. She's lived in some pretty bad places, but I just think, it allows her to then understand how good she had it when she was with me. So, and I know she knows that. She at some point she may say something. She doesn't have to. I already know. All right. So, Lorraine, I became an adult when mortgage interest rates were 12%, which kept many people out of the housing market. Yeah. I remember back in the 70s, Lorraine, they were 20%. You say if home interest rates stay low, I think housing will be okay. Well, yes. But the market is just so overheated. See, in other words, I just feel people are overpaying for the real estate. But we talked about this last week, Lorraine, while you were while you were gone. So I was a real estate broker in Ohio for 20 years. And the definition of the word fair market value, so think about that, fair market value, what a ready, willing, and able buyer is willing to give, and what a ready, willing, and able seller will accept. And in this crazy market, like my son's competing in right now, where they are overbidding, in other words, the house goes on the market, it's listed for X, and then it sells for X plus 6 or 7 or 8%. I mean, does it meet the definition of fair market value? Pretty close. But that's unsustainable, is all I'm trying to tell you, because in all my years of growing up, it was never like that. It was the exact opposite. A person would put their house on the market for $499,000 and it would sell for $469,000. It's all upside down. Just here, I'll give you an example. I just got in the mail on Friday. So after the live stream, I go up to the mailbox here on my lake. All right. So my house, and you can look this up. It's all public information. None of it's, I'm not boasting. I wouldn't share stuff that's not public, but I bought my house 13 years ago I bought it at the top of the bubble, the peak. I bought my house 3 months before the 2008 collapse. So I know all about bubbles. I paid $1,060,000. And about 5 miles down the lake from me, in a different town, in just a regular town called Samberton, in a very congested part of the lake where houses are right on top of one another, a house that only has 3 bedroom, mine's basically 5 bedroom. I'm in a private development. It just sold 2 weeks ago for $2,020,000. So probably this spring, if I put my house on the market, I could probably get close to $2.5 million. So it's the best investment I've ever made, to make $1.5 million in equity in 12 years, 13 years, pretty good. But I don't know that it's sustainable. That's what I'm trying to say. All right. John Rep, I do have a lot of the 20 volt to volt. Yeah, they're fantastic. The higher the voltage, the more power you get. I mean, that's what volts is. It's power. All right. Though I have a lot of Stihl chainsaws that DeWALT switches now. So do you have the 20 volt cord? Yeah, you've got the 20 volt cordless. I have the cordless Stihl chainsaw. It's about 4 years old. It's just unbelievable. The bar is maybe, I don't know, 12 inches long, maybe 14 max. Unbelievable. It's so lightweight. It just works. I have also a traditional Stihl chainsaw, the gas powered. I know how to make it work so it starts every time. I know the trick to that. But cordless, it's here to stay. It's not going anywhere. 100. I have an atomic version and wonder if I should have gone with the XR version. I don't know. I don't know. Don, do you think that someday we will have rationing like in World War II? I don't see it coming to that. No, I don't see it coming to that. We have much more serious problems because we've outsourced a lot of the basic things that we need. We've put that offshore, and that's horrible. That's horrible. Will, it doesn't leak when the sun is out. Exactly. Yeah, Kelly's. It's just, she had the same problem in Puerto Rico. All right. She's lived in 3 different apartments in her life. John Rep, I meant the whole head being able to rotate. Oh, no, I don't think this one does. No. This one, if it rotates, I don't know how to do it. Yes, Lorene. Yeah. I mean, back in the day, an average mortgage rate was like 6 to 7%. That was considered, okay, acceptable. So the interest rates we've had for the last 10 years, 2.5, 2.75. I mean, the mortgage on my house is 2.75%. Percent. Crazy. That's like crazy low. And the reason they did that, if you don't know, is the Fed kept interest rates low so that the United States wouldn't go bankrupt by having to pay a high interest rate on all the on the billions of treasury bills that they float. All right, so that's what's in play. In other words, the investors who buy the treasury bills, who for all this funny money, they've kept the rates down. So they want to keep those rates down. It allows them to print more money. Steve, in the 80s, the average house in London cost 80. Wow, now it's 800. 10 times. Let's see if that's Steve. Let's see if that's the same. It's not too far off in America. All right. And I'll give you an example. So back in 1976, which is, just, I mean, it's kind of close to the 80s. I paid $26,000, which was fair market price for this 5-bedroom, my second home I owned. And it was not in really bad shape. All right. It was completely livable. I did a lot of stuff to update it, but I paid 26,000. It was fair. No, I'm sorry. I paid 22,500. 22,500. Right now, and you can go look it up. Go look it up on Zillow. I'd be interested if you would do me that favor while I'm talking. Go to Zillow and look up 6270 Robison Road, Robison, Robison, only one N in it, Cincinnati, Ohio. I'm going to guess that you're going to see where Zillow thinks it's probably 300,000, 350 maybe. So look at that. That's up 15 times in value. So anyway, all right, John Rep, bye. Yeah, I just that's crazy. The 20% tax on the capital gain, that's crazy. Tony, I got a house in October and 3%. Yeah, exactly. That's a great interest rate. Yes, Zillow could be low. So Steve, in central London, the average price is 1.2 million, and West London is around $5 million. Holy tomato. I see, Steve, I don't see how that's sustainable. I don't see how the people in London can even afford that. That's crazy money. That's crazy money. Will wants to know which one you live in. He's Steve. Well, why would you even ask? Steve's over in flipping West London. All right. He said East London. Hi, Bob. Ann Arbor. Cold up there today, buddy. It's cold here in New Hampshire. It only got to like 23. Hello, Tony. Oakland County. Is that Oakland County, California? I'm just going to assume so. I just never heard of another Oakland. But all right. So, any other questions about the oscillating tool? If not, I'm going to move on. Got a lot of stuff to talk about. A lot of funny. Some of it's kind of funny. All right. I'll catch up if you do have questions about the oscillating tool. Those were good ones, by the way. Overnight, if you can open up another tab and go find the live stream from last week that's titled "Mortarless Stone Veneer," and go read the comment that Carol left overnight. And then, Steve, you have to do this because you're the one who loves my comebacks. So go see what I wrote to Carol. So what happened? Here's what happened. I had to go back and watch the first 3 minutes of the live stream early this morning to see what she was talking about. And what she wrote was true. What happened is when I go to start the live stream each day, I'm busy doing other stuff. All right. I'm busy. And all of a sudden, if maybe I've set an alarm or I look at the clock and go, oh my gosh, I got to go live. And so and what happens with me, you have to understand, I'm up here in the flipping cave for hours. I'm not talking to anybody. So, there might be some phlegm in my throat, whatever. So, and when I click the button to go live, it says going live on the stream. And then it just says you're live. Well, I decided to clear my throat. Well, I thought I was not live. Well, I was live. Then I started talking a little bit. And once again, I hadn't talked for a long time. I was thirsty. So I grabbed my drink and I take a big gulp and right close to the microphone, you could hear a little slurping, And then Will must have made a comment about, hey, how was the pizza last night? And so you just got to go read her comments, and see what you think. All right. Oh, Oakland County, Michigan. Thanks for that. So anyway, crutch words. So and anyway, go read Carol's comment and then see what you think. Let me know if I was too harsh. Coming back, this isn't. I've told you about this. I should not respond to comments in the morning. I'm a little on the muscle. I had not had all my coffee, and I get irritated at some of those things. Well, you'll see my response. Tell me if my response was too harsh. If it is, I'll go change it. I can edit my comments. Anyway, all right. So that's Carol. All right. Oh, this is one of my other notes. So I didn't do this last month. I forgot. Tomorrow, if you want to hear something pretty funny, you want to tune in like 23 minutes early, but on a different website. So I'm going to be on Frank and Kim's radio show tomorrow on WLIP. So WLIP.com. They live stream the radio show. It's in Kenosha, Wisconsin. So Lorraine, close to you, pretty close. And I never know what Frank's going to ask me. That's I absolutely love doing the show because we could talk about politics. We could talk about any number of things. And Frank and I are not always aligned on stuff, which makes it really interesting. But he's been doing this show for years and years and years. He knows exactly how to interview people. He asks really good questions. And he's just, it's a lot of fun. So if you want to hear me live on the radio, then tune in tomorrow. What happens is they say I'm on at 3:30, but I'm not. It's 3:30 East. Well, it would be 3:30 Eastern, my time, 3:30 Eastern, WLIP.com. Just go to and you'll see, I think in the upper right, how to click to hear the stream. But what happens, they have commercial break, a 5-6 minute commercial break. They do the weather. They don't come back in until 3:37. So you tune in at 3:37, and within a minute or two, you'll hear me. So it should be a lot of fun. I've never had a bad day on Frank's show. And then literally, we're off the show. He has a hard break at 4:00. He has a hard, what we call it in the business, a hard break. So what a hard break means is like the national news feeds. In other words, his radio station, they in other words, just imagine, here's a really good analogy. Imagine a speeding express train. Like you're at a railroad station and the train's not going to stop there. It's not stopping. It's the express. It's just going to blow by you. It's going to blow through the station. And you could set your clock by it. In other words, the train operates on time. And so the train is supposed to come through your station at exactly 4 o'clock. I don't mean 4 o'clock and 2 seconds. I don't mean 3:59, 57 seconds. I mean 4 o'clock. Exactly. When the second hand hits, that's when the train come right through the station. That's called a hard break in the radio and television industry. And he's got a hard national news break at 4 o'clock. So what happens is he kicks me off the air at about, 15 seconds till 4. So as soon as I'm off the air, I'll take a drink of something and hit the go live button here. So I'll go right from that to here. All right. So that's tomorrow, WLIP.com. All right. Which stream did you say? So Steve, so WLIP.com, WLIP.com. It's just tomorrow and it's at 3:37 Eastern time tomorrow, 3:37. And I'm only on for like 22 minutes. I should talk to my tomatoes before I go live. No, I could. They're right here. They're doing really well. Doing really well. Lorraine, I will be heading down that way tomorrow for a minute. Okay. All right. Well, good luck with that. Last time I asked him about it, the downtown, which I would have expected, the downtown of Kenosha still looks like a war zone. Crazy. So Steve wants to know if Bob is the same guy that joined us on the Zoom call. I don't know, Steve. I don't know. All right. Here's something that's interesting. Maybe you can help. I'd like to have your feedback. And I can't share the graphic here, unfortunately. Oh, I'm sorry. Maybe I can go get that steam. Hold on. Hold on, and then that way you can. I'll just paste in the link. I'm getting it right now. Hold on. I even restarted everything, and I'm waiting for my new computer. The monitor showed up. I'm just waiting for the computer now. Everything I hope is going to be so much faster. I'm getting it here. I'm almost here. I'm going to have a link for you in just about 5 seconds. 4, 3. Here we go. Right here. Here we go. Get shareable link. All right. Let's see what happens when I do this. Hopefully it won't blow it up. All right, so that's the one. So hopefully you're going to be able to see the comments. So I think she's the only comment. So look at that. Oh, great. Okay, Bob was on the stream. All right. Yesterday in my newsletter, I teased the fact that I'm just about ready to record a video that's going to show a 2-year test on what I think might be maybe the best deck sealer out there right now. And it's too cold to do it now. I hope to be able to do it in the next 2 weeks. And I'm not going to put the video up on YouTube. Well, I'm going to put a teaser video on YouTube. I'm going to record a teaser video, and that tells you like, oh, I know you're so upset with deck stains. They all fail so quickly, blah, blah, blah. But how would you like to know about the best deck stain? Okay, well, you know what? I've got that for you. Go to this link. And of course, it's going to take them to where they have to pay to watch the other video. And then the other video will not be on YouTube because it's against their terms of service to do that. It'll just be on my server. I did a survey yesterday in my newsletter where I set it up really well. I just said, okay, it's a pain in the butt. You're frustrated with your deck sealer. It's a lot of work to clean and restain your deck. So what's it worth to you? What is it worth to you to know about what might be the best deck sealer out there right now? And so I just put a list of options. $50, $40, $30, $20, $10, and then the last one was it should be free. 38% of the people that took the survey thinks it should be free. So they're in for a surprise. It's not going to be free. And what was really funny is I knew this would happen because here in America, Steve, you could go down to Florida right now. You could go down to New Orleans. I mean, it's 80 degrees. It's people have already sealed their decks, or they're getting ready to seal them. All right. So so this guy from down south emailed me in the afternoon and said, "Hey," he said, "I can't wait. I need to know what it is now. Can you just give me a peek?" And I said, "Well," he wasn't nasty or anything like that. I could just tell. And I said, "Well, I'll tell you what. Here," I said, "Tell me if this isn't fair." What I did is I took a screenshot of the pie chart showing all the percentages and you'd be stunned. Almost 20% of the people said it was worth $50, worth $50 to them to know which stain. Amazing. So the sweet spot's $20, $22. So that's what I'm going to price the video at. So I told him, I said, I showed him the pie chart. I said, looks like I'm going to price it at 20. So if you just go to Tim's Tips jar and give me $20, as soon as I see that order come through, you email me. I'll tell you what the stain was. He said, deal. So he did it this morning, and I immediately emailed him the name of the product, and he was so happy. He got right back to me. He said, "Oh," I said, "this is such great information." And I told him, I said, "It looks like it could possibly last 4 years. That's a long time. Average deck sealer lasts 2 years." And you know what deck sealer costs right now? $50 a gallon. $50 a flipping gallon. One of my friends here in New Hampshire, who's been on the list a long time, he uses a product. He emailed me yesterday afternoon. He uses a deck sealer. It costs $102 a gallon. And he needs 12 gallons. $102 a gallon. So here's the, if you want to take the survey, if you're interested, and it's anonymous. That's the good part. All right. So you don't have to, you don't have to reveal who you are, so but I'm just curious as to what you think what you think a video like that would be worth. So please take the survey, add to the overall results. So I'm just trying to pull up the link right now. Because I created a special page at the website. I should have had it ready. I didn't. So here we go. I got it. This is where if I had a director, sitting an invisible director, it would just be done. So go here and just do a favor and take the survey. Just be honest is all I ask. If you think it should be free, that's okay. Go ahead and put it down if that's how you feel. I may do a follow-up. Oh, here's a question I could ask you. In fact, I'll do this. This is going to be fun. All right. So go ahead and take that survey. I'll leave it open for a while. Take the survey. Should I? It's not going to change their opinion. In other words, there it is. It just came up. Take that poll. So it's not going to. I don't think it's going to change their opinion. It's certainly not going to change mine. I kind of think what the overarching answers would be is that just to a large extent, the whole internet has made people feel like they can get stuff for free. So, and I think some of the people, I had a couple of people respond to me yesterday. They thought I was greedy. I think they think I make millions and millions and millions of dollars off Ask the Builder. That's not the case, So, anyway, it's so should I ask them or not? We'll see. Wow, you think I should? That's interesting. All right, I may do it. All right, here we go. There you go. See exactly. So there, I hadn't priced it in a while. So Will says Sherwin-Williams Emerald, $80 a gallon. That's crazy. So Steve wants to know how Brandon's doing. He's getting worse by the day. Just getting worse by the day. I think the latest poll I saw, 70% of the people here in America want him out of there. Like he's really bad. But that's what you get when you get a mail order president. All right, mail order president. Oh well. All right, Lorene. Some of the people I watch put videos on YouTube. They're monetized, but they also put exclusive videos on Patreon. So, correct me if I'm wrong, Lorene. That with Patreon, I think that model is really a subscription based. I think. In other words, if I was to start a Patreon thing, am I on a treadmill? Meaning, if a person donates $10 a month or whatever, do I have to give them guaranteed something in the future? Or do people just give me money and I don't have to do anything? I've been waiting and waiting and waiting for a feature that Steve told me about back in November, early December of last year. YouTube still has not turned it on for my channel. There's a feature that certain channels have. They say it's in beta, where if you watch hopefully it'll happen to me. If you watch one of my videos in the future on YouTube, you can give me a $1 tip or a $2 tip or 50 cents or $10, whatever. But they have not turned that on in my channel yet. It would make a huge difference, I think, for as many views as I have. I'll tell you this. Yes, you're right. He'll still win if we still have mail-in voting. That we got to get rid of the mail-in voting. Yeah, all subscription based. So Lorene, here's a lot of people don't understand this about subscriptions. Here's the problem with subscriptions for a magazine. If you know anything about accounting, and I think you do, you've got a strong accounting background. For a magazine publisher, I know this is going to sound crazy. For when you write your check out or your credit card gets dinged for your subscription, on the publisher's balance sheet, that is a liability. That money that they received is not considered an asset. Does that make sense? Because they've taken your money and they've told you, okay, we take your money. Now we guarantee you over the next year, every month, we're going to send you a magazine or whatever. I do not want to be on that treadmill. I'm already on that treadmill. I'm on that treadmill every Monday morning. Every Monday morning, I've got to file my syndicated column, and I'm getting less and less happy about it. So there's no way I want to start a membership or a subscription service where I am obligated to produce some type of content for who knows what. I'm not doing it. I just think the better model is what I'm transitioning to right now, where just like this deck stain, the sewer gas ebook, the sewer gas video. In other words, I know the really high pain points people have. So you may see new videos on YouTube of me telling why they're having the pain. And then that video, I offer a free PDF file that tells you how to take the pain away. And of course, when you open up the free PDF file, I give you a little bit of stuff. It's like I open up the kimono just a little bit, but then if you want me to open the kimono all the way, you're going to have to pay money. All right, so that's where I'm going. I'm not doing Patreon. Yes, but you need to have a certain amount of viewable hours. Yeah, I don't know. I'll go look at Patreon again, but I think it's what I just described, where people give you money, but then I have to give them something in return on a somewhat of a routine basis. That's all I want to know. Do I have to give them something back on a routine basis? And if I don't, do they get their money back? Yes, about the cackler. Yes. So anyway, so that's that. So now, so 83% in the poll think I should poll my group as to why they feel it should be free. Okay, I'll do it. I'll poll them. I'll give some what I think are. I think what I'll do, I'll go ahead and make that up tomorrow, and then I'll test it on you if you don't mind. In other words, what options? I want to list some options that they can just click instead of having to type. But I will let them. There'll be another one, that'll in case I don't list what they think. So, but I want to test it on you to see if I have got the right ones that are easy to identify, if that makes any sense. All right. I see that Steve replied to a video, but I'm not going to go look at it right now. All right. So let me see what else happened. All right. So once again, I want to just tell you quickly, tomorrow at 3:37 p.m. in the afternoon, Eastern time, I will be on WLIP.com for about 22 minutes. So WLIP.com in Kenosha, Wisconsin. They do streaming over the internet. That's tomorrow only, just tomorrow. Here's another thing that happened. Got a lot. It put a B. Oh, if you just kind of come in here to the stream and you've not checked in, please check in. It's the polite thing to do. I'd like to know who you are. And if you can list a superpower or two that you have, please do, because you may know something about something that I need to know about, and I want to ask you a question. It's really that simple. So please check in. Just, don't be bashful. I'm not a stalker. I'm not going to go to your YouTube channel and stalk you. I don't have time to do that. Yesterday, well, actually, here's what happened. This last week in my newsletter, I touched on inflation. And the whole point was to try to tell people, if you are planning to do something on your home, like a major purchase or whatever, you want to do it as soon as possible, because the price of everything is just going to keep going up. And it was kind of a long piece. And then I connected them to a really kind of a neat, I'm going to call it a low-level paper about inflation and the causes and the history that was on at Hillsdale College, on Imprimis. And so I put that link in. Well, I had read the article myself, and I found it really interesting, the history. So get this. Inflation, it played a big role in the outcome of the American Civil War, because what happened is the South, they they started to print money like crazy. I mean, they just completely devalued their currency. It was worthless. And that's what's going on now. We're printing a bunch of US dollars, and it's going to make your money worthless at some point. Not today, not next week, but it's coming. All right. In my newsletter last week, I just referred to it. I said there's some really interesting history about the War of Northern Aggression. Oh, it pissed a bunch of people off. Not a bunch. I got emails from about 5 or 10 people out of 25,000. I also got about 50 emails from people who were happy about that I mentioned it, and tell me how much courage I have, because I'm kind of poking the bear a little bit. Yesterday, I then go back to it and explain why I did it in yesterday's newsletter. If you're not getting my newsletter, in my opinion, I think you're making a huge mistake. It's free. There's all kinds of really cool stuff in it, and it's a really kind of relaxed form of writing. I really enjoy doing the newsletter. And I touch on things kind of like I do here. I go off the rails just a little bit every now and then. I offer up an example. I got rid of it. I threw it away. So I'll do it right now. I know, Will. Where's the flipping whiteboard? I'm not doing the whiteboard. I've decided not doing the whiteboard. You know why? Because I've been cleaning up and decluttering, and I found a bunch of paper like this, and I don't want it to go to waste. So I'm just going to use it in my colored markers. So I did this for the newsletter. I had a picture of this, but it was on green paper. And I asked everybody, tell me what you see. I said, tell me what you see. And so most people, obviously, what are they going to say? I see the number 6. Well, remember, this is a graphic. I haven't changed the graphic, but what happens when I do this? Now, what do you see? Number 9. Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right. So, in other words, a person could be standing here if this was drawn on the playground of a school, a student could be standing here and a student could be standing up here at the hole. They look down, they're looking at the exact same thing, but their takeaway is completely different. And so the point I made in the newsletter yesterday was that the people who live down south, they called it the War of Northern Aggression. That's how they felt about it. The people up north here in America called it the Civil War. All right. I had this one lady who went nuts on me. Her name is Barbara. So she starts lecturing me about slavery. And it's like, I didn't even talk about slavery. I'm just talking about a fact that the people called it the War of Northern Aggression. We start this very respectable back and forth conversation yesterday afternoon. And I was just waiting for her to make a mistake. I'm sorry. I'm really bad like that. I know. All right. You know what? I know. I get it. Sorry. But so she made a mistake. And so I said, Barbara, I said, it seems like you're really, really upset about slavery and that slavery is really bad. Yes, I am. I hate it. It's horrible. Really? I said, do you happen to own any Apple products? And then, you know what the answer to that was, of course, right? So I then had teed up an article from the Washington Post, all right? You know how bad they are, how liberal about taking Apple to task for using all the slave labor in China. And so I sent her that, and I said, listen, I said, you're probably the last person that should be lecturing anybody about slavery. I said, you should stop lecturing people about how bad slavery is stop doing it. And once you get rid of all of the products in your home made by slaves, by the CPP or CCP, the CCP, then you can get back on your high horse and start lecturing about slavery. Oh man, did that shut her up. I never heard back from her. And because basically I told her, I want you to tell me how many things in your home have a made from China on them. Your television, your who knows what, tons of stuff. So it's like, I'm just sick of people who blather on about this or that other thing. They're such hypocrites. And so she was a huge hypocrite. And plus, you have to understand, in my newsletter, I never said anything about slavery. All I stated was the Civil War is known by certain amount of people in America as the War of Northern Aggression. You can look it up. It's a fact. All right. All right, let's see. Oh, hi, Ann. A lot of people. Hi, Jack. N8. That sounds like the tail number on an airplane. Hello, Don. What about Will Smith? Oh, I watched that video this morning. I wouldn't watch the Oscars live. I'm so cynical. Was that real, or was it set up to bring awareness about the Oscars? Because don't you remember? Oh gosh, what? How long ago was it? 20 years ago in the Super Bowl, when Janet Jackson, exposed her breast because the one boy toy singer, they were dancing, and supposedly he accidentally somehow, pulled. Well, a friend of mine, they'd gotten photos on it. You could actually see the snaps. In other words, her costume was made that the cup was it just came off, it just snapped on. So it's like, in a normal dress, you would not make a dress that way, right, Lorene? You're not going to make snap-on cups. Come on. All right. So in other words, that was fake all those years ago. That was fake, just for whatever reason, to get people talking about it the next morning. So I've never forgotten that. So I just wondered, because Will Smith's a great actor, so he could pull it off his end. Chris Rock, I mean, he could probably pull it off. I don't know. So I don't know if it was real or not. I just become so skeptical. I don't trust anything. All right. Go woke, you go broke. Yeah. There's so many companies I don't support. Costume accidents do happen. Yes, they do. But that one at the Super Bowl with Janet Jackson, convinced that was all staged. I mean, you could see the snap. You could see the snaps. So I don't know. I'm not an expert. All right. So, but yeah, regular. I know women's clothes fall down. They've got these slinky outfits. It happens. I get that. But I think that the point I'm trying to make is I think that they intentionally make things happen to build a buzz for whatever reason. That's all I'm saying. But guess what? I can't prove it. I can't hack in to see Will Smith's email or text messages with the Oscars producers, whatever. The 6 or the 9. Oh my gosh. There's not a par 6 hole on any course. That's a bogey, buddy. And they say, here's the thing, and this is the way I feel about it. The par 5 holes on a golf course, they're the easiest ones on the course. Seriously. They're the easiest ones. Come on. Say it's 550 yards. Where's my little magic calculator? Bingo. 183 yards. All right. So you just get, you just get your 3 wood out, or, whatever. I mean, you don't have to try to hit it 250 yards. All right. You can make the green with 380-yard shots, right? So, yeah. So anyway, Lorena, I don't know. I don't know if it was staged. I don't know. It just, all I can tell is me looking at the video, it looked pretty, I don't think Chris Rock knew it was coming. I don't know. I don't know. The big problem is I don't care. But it was really wrong for Chris Rock the joke he made, because of the medical condition that Will Smith's wife's going through. Losing all her hair. It's crazy. Not a cancer thing, just some other problem. It's just not cool. There's no need. You don't need to belittle people like that. There's so many other things to make fun of. you know. Although, although with that crowd, you're pretty limited on your jokes. uh, uh, Lorraine says, I'm not sure about the Will Smith thing, but it was pretty ballsy to just walk. Yeah, it was. It was. I know. That's what I'm trying to say. It's just, I don't know. I heard there's a par six on a course up. I mean, yeah, I'll believe it when I see it on the scorecard. Yeah, exactly. Very traumatic for people with, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I saw a video. I saw on this other video, I saw she had posted her own video, maybe on Instagram or whatever. And the poor woman, I mean, what courage. She had a lot of courage. I mean, she's bald as a fucking cue ball, man. I mean, and I think it wipes out all the hair. I mean, like her eyebrow. I'd have to go back and look at the video, but no eyebrows. I mean, maybe even eyelashes. I don't know. And it just takes all the hair off your body. It's like, how horrible is that? So, and there's just, like I said, there's no need for Chris Rock. It's just not cool to make fun of people like that. It's just not. I mean, if I guess the only way it would be acceptable is like if Will Smith's wife had maybe tripped, had done something very clumsy, and she admitted it was clumsy, and she broke her leg, and she's at the Oscars in a cast, and she admits, like, she went on Instagram and said, "Oh my gosh, I was the dumbest thing. I can't believe I did this. Like, what was I thinking?" And she's making fun of herself. Then maybe Chris Rock's got permission to extend that joke, but not what he did. That was just unacceptable. Yeah, eyelashes too. Wow. Oh my gosh. Feel sorry for that lady. All right, what do you have any questions? No one has put a question today. I mean, we're an hour and 11 minutes into the live stream. Not one question about a problem with your home. Got to be a record. That's why I'm doing the live streams, not to talk about eyelashes, all right? Not to talk about eyebrows, you know? What problems do you have at your home that you want me to solve? That's why I'm here. So type your question in the chat, and I will do everything possible. Maybe you're wanting to know about a product. Maybe, I don't care what it is. I don't care. That's why I'm here. So please go ahead and type it in. Lorraine, I put another picture up on the Discord. They took a few days break on the fire. Yeah, no problem. I cannot wait to see that fireplace. Oh my gosh. It's going to be fantastic. I know it is. Cannot wait. But the good news is, right, while they're putting a stone, I mean, you can be using it right now, right? Are you having fires in it? You can have fires in it, right? So at least you can get some warmth or whatever, be burning wood in it. All right. Yeah, Steve, good point. Could I imagine if I lost my trademark mustache? Exactly. Be bad. I mean, the funny thing about me, and I have a feeling Will Smith's wife's good for her, that she's not so self-conscious that she lets it hurt her life publicly. I don't know how to. I'm not explaining very well. Some people would just retreat. I know a woman who would retreat. I know. With me, I don't. I know it sounds. I mean, just look at my hair now. Like, I do not go to the bathroom and get the brush out and brush my hair before the live streams. I don't do that. I comb it in the morning one time. After the shower, that's it. I'm done. I'm not. It happened. What happens to it the rest of the day happens. I don't trim my mustache 3 times a week. I don't want to say I don't care how I look, but in a way I don't. I mean, I don't. I'm hoping that people don't like me for what I look like. But that's, sadly, there are many, many people in the entertainment business, they fall into that trap, which is why the plastic surgeons out in Hollywood make a lot of money, and the Botox people and whatever, I mean, in other words, I mean, that's why years ago, before plastic surgery even existed, the silent movie actresses, you may not know this, the silent movie actresses, who were these beautiful, beautiful women in the movies, is they aged, well, you know what happens. Most women They don't look as good as not everybody can be Cheryl Teagues, who's 66 years old and who looks like she's 32. All right. Um, so they started to look a little worn, a little frazzled around the edges. Well, then they became recluses. What a horrible way, because they did not want people to go, they didn't want to go out in public and have people go, oh, yeah, and so it's really a sad thing. But I don't think I would do that. I mean, if I lost my mustache, and I told you, there's already that one video of me. You can see me without a mustache. There's a video of me on YouTube. I told you that story already. It was a funny story. All right, let's see. Hubby got to pick the final tile selection. He picked the flatter stone rather than the brick. Huh, okay, I can't wait to see that. Sean, hi, Sean. Check the video. Will Smith thought it was hysterically funny. Exactly, yeah, that's the video I watched. That's what's throwing me off. See, that's what's throwing me off. But that could be part of the play. Remember, Will Smith, professional actor, he could pull that off. I just keep going back to the Janet Jackson Super Bowl thing. That was all staged. Why they would do that? I mean, who cared that someone would see Janet Jackson's breast for a few seconds? I mean, big deal. I mean, she's not stacked and packed. All right. So, I mean, it's just like, and so what? How many men out there have not seen? Come on. Anyway, that was done for some other reason to promote the Super Bowl, for whatever. I don't know why they did it. We'll never know. All right. So, but that was on purpose for some reason. All right. All right. Here we go. But Sean, I agree with you. I saw that video. Kurt, Chinese labor exploitation is against people that look like themselves. So the subhuman element is not there in the same manner as slave or Jim Crow laws that even stood in your day. I don't know that I quite understand all that. Here's all I know. Here's all I told somebody yesterday is that I even said this to Barbara too, is that I said, unfortunately, slavery has been around like since day one. All right. I mean, it's in the Bible, in the Old Testament. It's been all through time. It's present day. The Chinese aren't the only ones doing it. There's other countries in Africa that are doing slavery. There's could be other countries in the Far East that do it to a degree. North Korea, potentially. I mean, there's nothing new about slavery. And if you read Game of Thrones, how many times do I tell you about that? I mean, slavery is a big thing in Game of Thrones. All right. When you conquer people, you don't want to kill all of them, and you bring them. They do all the stuff for free. They become your slaves. I mean, it's just part of man. I'm not saying it's a good thing. I'm just saying, and it's probably not going to go away anytime soon. All right, Lorraine, they had to pull out a lot of carpet from the hearth seating area. Okay. Steve, can a manual tire cutter cut any type of tile? No. Great question. You cannot use a manual tile cutter to cut the, why is it on the tip of my tongue? The, oh gosh. I guess I am a true silver top. The tiles that have a lot of quartz in them, porcelain, geez. Porcelain tiles. So we have it was a really big trend in the past 10 years here in the United States. So it's a very hard tile. I mean, and what happens, see, it's so hard that when you try to squirt and break it, it has what we call a conchoidal fracture, where you can't really control where it's going to crack. And it's not like glass. I mean, glass is kind of interesting. Because, in the hardware store, they can cut glass with that real thin line and snap a pretty clean line most of the time. But with a tile, because it's thicker, it doesn't work that well. So you have to saw cut that on a wet diamond saw, or you can use a dry one, but very dusty, very dangerous. Not a good idea to breathe that silica dust. Silica you can get silicosis if you do it for a long, long time and exposed to a lot of silica dust. So that's why I use a wet saw. I have a really beautiful DeWALT wet saw, beautiful saw. Um, but on a lot of the regular clay tiles, Steve, that are softer, yeah, the manual tile cutter works great. I've used them for years. Don, how many Romex 10-2 cables can you run an underground conduit? That's a great question. All right, so the National Electrical Code covers that. There is a limit, and it's because of they don't really call it. They typically in the code in the past they don't call it conduit. They used to call it raceways, so a raceway, and there is a defined number of conductors you can put in a certain diameter, and it's all because of heat buildup. All right, so that's what's going on there. So you just have to look and understand the National Electrical Code here in the United States changes every 3 years, just like the building code. So I don't even attempt to keep up with it. I don't even try. It's just a waste of time, a waste of my time. I just go look it up yourself, and just see what they say. All right, those are good questions. Great questions, Steve, about the tile. Like the this oscillating tool today. So see, you can use this to cut tile. All right, I've got here's the bit that you use. All right, so that's what you would use to cut tile. So you can use that if you wanted. If you're in a pinch. It's not the best tool to use, not the fastest, but it's a little undersized, but you could do it. All right, so great question. Great question. What other questions do you have about your home? If you have any other questions about your home, just type them in. Love to help you. Love to help you. What did I want to ask Steve? I wanted to ask Steve, are the people in the UK is there a lot of unrest there about just everything? About the illness still? I know that they relaxed all the requirements, that Boris took all that away. But just the high fuel inflation. Your inflation over in the UK must be worse than ours. Is it? What's going on with your inflation? Kind of curious. You're my direct connection back to what's going on in Europe. It's hard to do that when I do radio stuff with people in Europe, because I don't know the people I'm talking to that well. So it's and there's a code. We have an unwritten code in ham radio. You absolutely do not talk politics. Speaking of which, ham radio, on Saturday, Kathy went with my son to an orchid show down in Nashua. That's where my son lives. And, I had 2 hours to kill. And so I decided to do a Parks on the Air activation. It's a really cool program where people like me take our radios and we go out to these different state parks around the United States, and people sit at home and then they try to make contact with us. So I made 25 contacts in 32 minutes, and I had 7 of those were international. And, I had 2 or 3 from Italy. I had 2 from Germany. I had 1 from the Dominican Republic. A lot of fun. And, it's a very quick exchange, like 2 ships passing in the night. But my goal is I'm going to get out a lot more this spring. And I'm hoping I can get out on a day when the propagation's really good. And I hope to get like 100. It'd be nice to have 100 contacts in one outing. That'd be pretty exciting. So anyway, if you have any questions about your home, type them in now. 78% of the people said I should ask my people. All right, I'm going to do it. I'm going to ask them why. I'm going to end the poll. All right. What else did I want to say? I think, I'll show you a little something. I may have shown this on another live stream. But I had to change the label today because I had it wrong. So I'm going to show you. This is a rock that I got out west in the summer of 1972. It was my second trip out west. And this is the green is olivine. That's an olivine crystals, and the black is a really fine grain basalt. All right, so this is a very this was a molten. Just think of really hot gravy. All right, hot gravy. Well, you maybe have seen videos of the hot lava flowing in Hawaii. All right, that's what this is. Comes from deep within the earth, 30, 40, 50 miles down. It's upper mantle rock from the mantle, and it's very rich in this mineral, this olivine. It's not even really a mineral; it's kind of a classification. And so I had originally thought that I had gotten this at Bandera Crater in New Mexico, but it turns out that this rock really only can be found in the United States. This particular one in Arizona, about it would have been, I don't know, 100, 200 miles to the west of where I got this. I got this at a gift shop, evidently. One of my buddies who was on the trip told me on an email. He said, "Oh, yeah." I said, "You probably picked it up at the gift shop at Bandera Crater." So what we always do with geology is you try to find a flat area. And this actually, I had saw cut this rock in half. So this is very flat. You can see that, where I put it on a wet saw. So I had painted it last week and wrote in a black permanent marker, Bandera Crater, blah, 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 the date, latitude and longitude. And he said, you got to completely change your label, man. You got it all wrong. So I painted it this morning. So I'll let it dry for 2 more days. And then I'll put the correct information of where this was found and whatever. So it was found in at the I'll tell you where it is. The San Carlos. Just look it up on YouTube or Google San Carlos olivine, the Peridot Mesa. Peridote's the actual mineral name when you get gem quality of those green stones. Beautiful stuff. They have a lot of it in Egypt. So, all right, let's see. All right, here we go. Jack wants to know, how many circuits can I have on one neutral? I would think not more than 2, because that's what 3 wires for. I don't. Once again, that's a code question. I don't memorize the National Electric Code. I surely would not do more than 2, because I mean, the trouble is you could really overload if you were sharing one neutral on 5 circuits and you had all 5 circuits working. Man, I mean that neutral would get pretty hot. Not a good idea. I don't like to use it for that at all. I did it years ago, but I stopped doing it for that reason. So all my circuits are just 12 2-wire from the panel. I'll run a 3-wire for a 220 appliance, of course, but I'm not going to do shared neutrals. I'm not doing it. Kurt, if you have a cobblestone basement that is failing, is it feasible to go back with a stone and reuse it? Yes, absolutely. It's feasible. Yeah, sure. You're lucky to have cobblestone. I mean, granite. Are you kidding me? All right. So, here's Steve getting back. Yes, there is a lot of unrest. But what happens is they use distraction to try to make people. Yes, there's same things happening here, Steve. Yes, that's they're ruling by fear. They're constantly inciting people because, as we all know, I've talked about this how many times in the past. When you're afraid, when you're fearful, unless you've been trained in the military or some other way, most people don't know how to handle fear, and as a result, if they get afraid, they start making really bad decisions. That's what they want. Because remember, they hate us. Just keep saying that each day, like in the mirror in the morning. Just say they hate us, or you could just say, looking at the mirror, they hate me. They hate me. They do. They hate. We're useless eaters. All right, here we go. Thanks, Steve, for that. Thank you. Will, not sure why my neighbor's two concrete septic systems. There could be a host of reasons. They are from the front. They are from front the street to his walkway. He's going to buy pavers after getting. But he should not necessarily do that. Will, if they're just kind of degrading on the surface, I've got a couple of really great columns on the website. He could fix them for less than $50, and the pavers are just going to fall apart. They're just going to, when you use pavers as steps, it's a huge mistake. So just get me in Discord or email me. What would be best is, could you please take a photo of the steps and send it to me via email? Then I'll tell him what to do. But if they're what I think it is, I could save him thousands and thousands of dollars. And he can do it himself unless he's really, really physically challenged. It's really simple work. John, at Don, since Romex already has its own insulation, I think it violates code to be put in a conduit. Yeah. I put, well, like all of the, just so you know, John, all of the electric up here in the cave is Romex. And I've got three wires and a 3/4 inch Romex that are feeding this cave, and it's Romex. But there's not a whole lot of load up here. I don't have a lot of current draw. So to your point, you're exactly right. The Romex kind of inhibits the dissipation of the heat. So you're exactly right. Typically in conduit, they're just running stranded wire. There's no insulation because the conduit is that's the outer sheathing. That's the protection. I'm trying to be careful or quiet when I drink that in case Carol comes back. She didn't like me gulping the water the other day. Oh. The steps broke up completely. Wow. Well, it's pretty easy to do concrete if he's got a wheelbarrow and buy some bags of concrete. It's not really that hard to do, but it might be on his wheelhouse. It's just that the pavers are going to fall apart and they're going to move around. I mean, that's the trouble. The pavers are, I don't know. I don't think it's going to work. That's exactly right. The same amount of current travels to the neutral. I mean, what happens, it's alternating current. And I remember years ago, I don't know if this is accurate, that in alternating current, the electrons move about 12 inches. That's all that's happening. They go one way, then they go one way, then they go that way, then, 60 times a second, the electrons. So that movement is creating friction. And the more current is happening, the more electrons it creates. It gets hotter and hotter and hotter. I have a photograph on my website. It's really cool. It's an infrared photograph I took with my FLIR camera, showing two wires coming out of my electric panel. I mean, they're pretty warm. I mean, all the other wires are very nondescript. These other two wires are pretty, very, very visible in the photo. So they had a lot of current going through them. So they get warm. They get warm. Absolutely. All right. Any other comments? Any questions you have about anything? I'm happy to answer them. Oh, I don't know if I told you about Harry real quickly. So yesterday, oh, you'll love this, Steve, if you're still here. I put in the newsletter that I asked just a random question. Hey, do you have any Lesney Matchbox trucks? Because I took a photo of the three. I just got two this past week that I bought on eBay. I'll show them to you. So I got this 8-wheel tipper. Nice, it's got a little tailgate that moves. Pretty good shape. I'm going to repaint the yellow. Pretty good shape. And then I got this grit spreader. This one's in really good shape. It's got this little thing out the back. I'm trying to do it where you can see it. This little thing goes in and out. And it's got a little groove in here where where the grit would have been on a conveyor belt to get back to the back of the truck. All right, so I've talked to this. Here's what's happened. I've told you in past live streams when we've talked about inflation that it's going to be a smart idea for you to try to transfer some of your cash into things that are not cash that might be valuable in the future. All right, so I what did I see? I saw a somewhere on eBay. I think it was that grit spreader in really good shape with the original box, $134. All right, I paid $5 for it. All right, so I just thought, well, you know what? Maybe I invest $100, $200, $300 in some of these decent ones that are in good shape. I might not have the boxes. Doesn't matter. People, eventually the boxes are all going to fall apart anyway. But so I talk about that in the newsletter. Just a really brief thing yesterday. Hey, do you have any of these Lesney trucks around your basement or attic? I might be interested in taking them off your hands. And I told him, I said, I'm really only interested in like construction vehicles. I don't want all of the Lesney stuff. I don't care about that. So this one guy got back and he had 12, and some of them are in really great shape. So he made me a deal, all 12 of them for $100. So I said, deal, let's do it. So he sent them today, and I mailed him his check today. So once I get the 12, one of them's pretty beat up. That's okay, but a couple of them are in really good shape. So I think I came out ahead on the deal. Yeah, THHN. Yeah, THNN is exactly right. Steve, car boot sales start soon. Car boot sales start soon. Oh my gosh. What does that mean? Does that mean that is a car boot the thing they put on the wheel so that you can't move the car in case you're illegally parked? Is that what I don't quite understand that comment. Help me out. This could be my last hot chocolate for the year. Well, for the season. Cold. It was cold today. I was cold when I got back from the mailbox. Yes. That's correct, John. Exactly. Right. That's exactly right. But typically on 220 volt, the appliance is getting its electricity from the two hots, not really getting the energy from the neutral. I didn't think, not an expert on that. I'm not an electrical engineer. I think you are though, or Don is. Somebody is. We've got several electrical engineers that are part of the family here. Maybe car trunk. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it means. I don't know. The whole. I just thought car. See, what threw me off is the car boot sales. I don't know what that means. Oh, Lesney trucks. So car boot. In other words, I guess when the police, here we go. A car boot sale is where the general public sells things from the trunk. Oh, I get. Very interesting. Yeah, dude. If you see, all I'm interested in are like construction like vehicles. The bulldozers, trucks. They're in really good shape. Yeah, keep an eye out. I'll pay you. I don't want to pay an exorbitant amount, but just negotiate, see what you can get for them. I read an article about Lesney yesterday. Somebody sent me an article. It was an amazing story. How big their factory was, how many they made, how many people worked there. It was. I mean, they had. I think they had. It was an amazing article. That's all I can tell you. They. Let me tell you, they made a lot of these things. They made a lot of them. So there's a lot of them out there, but there's also a lot of them thrown away. But over time, they're going to become more and more and more valuable. All right. So I'm just telling you, like, I'm also doing the same thing. I'm not doing this too aggressively because they're so expensive, but those water things I was talking about last week, we talked about water things. Probably a good idea for you to buy some water things, some really high quality ones, and don't use them. Just don't use them. Just keep them in the box. They're going to do nothing but go up in value. Yeah, Mattel, exactly. And the factory, the original Lesney factory, was torn down 12 years ago. Car boot sale. Interesting. Take some photos of the car boot sales. I want to see those. That's really, that's got to be cool as can be. We here in the United States, because we have more room, we have yard sales. So a yard, people have a bigger yard. And we also have, we call them flea markets, a flea market. So a flea market is the exact same thing as your car boot sale. So people will go there, they'll sell things out of their car, or they'll just set up a table. They'll have like a very small booth, and they rent maybe a 10-foot wide spot so they can just put up one table, maybe two, and same exact thing. They're just basically selling out of the back of their car. But we call them flea markets here. Very interesting. Very interesting. That's why I love the live stream. I get to learn stuff too. Get to learn stuff like that. Car boot. I would have never known that. All right, I'm going to get out of here. I have to go. I have to start in about an hour. I have to help make dinner. Tonight we're having potato soup. All right. I love potato soup. Wonderful stuff. You know, cut up the potatoes into small cubes. Put some bacon in it, some cheese. It's going to be wonderful. Okay, I will. All right, I'll do that, Steve. I'll yes, I can. I think it's just like our flea markets, you know that. So, okay, I'm going to get out of here. Appreciate you being here today, and I should be here all week. I don't know what I'm going to talk about next. There's an infinite amount of things to talk about, and should have a good night. It's going to be a great night to sleep. A little cold here. Send the recipe. Yes, I will. I'm trying to think. I think all that Kathy does is some heavy cream. I don't know what the broth is. I'm going to go down and check with her right now. I got to make sure we have what she needs to make it. All right, buddy. Steve, thanks for being here. But yes, Jack, I'll get the recipe. I will. All right. So it's really, really tasty. I'm Tim Carter. You've been watching Ask the Builder, and thanks for being here. And thanks for all of your great questions. Thanks for your attention. Thanks for your patience with me when I try to slurp and cough and clear my throat. Carol, that's for you. I love you, Carol, wherever you are. I'm Tim Carter. This is Ask the Builder, and I hope to be this happy after Will and I play golf with 8-Bit Vinyl. Looks like 8-Bit Vinyl is going to join us. It's going to be an awesome day. I'm Tim Carter. See you tomorrow.